It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
As I was walking down the street one day, a man came up to me and asked me what the
Welcome in on this Thursday. We're always a little late on Thursdays because, we got Harold Crater here, and I'm talking with him, and Eli's hanging around. I almost forget we got a show to do. This is sort of an interesting day. Today, we found out a legend has decided to leave the stage. Next week in London at the Laver Cup, Roger Federer is saying goodbye to tennis. He says he'll still play around, but he's not going to play on tour in slams or on the ATP. I wonder if he'll play on that Jim Courier old-time circuit. For some reason, it just doesn't seem like he would play that. It's usually old Americans that are playing on that tour, but who knows? He could. But that means he's never going to catch Rafael Nadal. He's the greatest, and it could end up being Joker, Novak Djokovic, who ends up being the collector of the most slam titles. We'll see how that goes because, because of COVID and lack of a vaccine, he hasn't been able to play in a bunch. He did win one this year, but so did Nadal. He won a couple, and he's got the lead at the moment. But Roger Federer leaves, and I will tell you, let's face it. Now, Nadal's the greatest clay player of all time, but just total surfaces. And the only time Feds won a French was a year that Rafael Nadal did not play. He didn't. He was injured. Now, that's breaks of the game, right? But that was the only one he won on that surface. But the other three, Wimbledon, of course, incredible, U.S. Open hard court, Australian hard court. I think, for my money, the best player of all time was Federer. So I'm sad to see him go, but he's 41 years old, which is amazing that he's played this long.
Tom Brady-esque.
Yeah.
In terms of longevity.
But you think about it, even as a quarterback, so that game is, can you recognize defenses and how good is your arm and your footwork still, but not like tennis. Tennis, where people forget, you're sprinting for as many as a rally being 30 shots, right? And you're sprinting every shot. On top of that, here's the other thing people don't realize. You've got to have footwork. So you've got to sprint to the spot, set your feet so that you are in position to properly hit the ball, whether it's forehand, backhand, whatever it may be.
And they haven't changed the rules in tennis to help the aging quarterback either.
No, they have not. The thing is also you have to have that first step. As a quarterback, you have it when you're young. You don't really need it. Once you get that ball, you're really looking at your arm and your knowledge of where people are. That makes you a great quarterback. That burst of speed that you've got to have for tennis, baseball, basketball, those are different. You can play later. So for my money, Feds is the greatest of all time. Maybe Djokovic will rewrite that. We'll see. At the moment, it's Nadal. But no longer Feds. Next week, last one. Not even. I thought he was going to at least try to play in Australia. But he says, I can't do it. I know it. So he's going to probably go out first, second, third round at the Laver Cup in London. But that'll be his week the way it was Serena's week at the U.S. Open. Here's another guy that's going into retirement, and I was taken by surprise here on this one because he's only 66. He's a young guy, in my mind. And that is Craig Thompson. Craig Thompson is a guy we got to know because he was the assistant commissioner of the Metro, a great league, maybe the best league that the Tigers were ever in. That Metro was really fun. Craig Thompson was an assistant commissioner in the Metro, and you could tell he was a young guy then. And he was on his way to greatness. He was, good looking, smart guy, very articulate, had a charisma about him, and he parlayed that into becoming the commissioner of the Mountain West Conference. And he's been the commissioner of the Mountain West Conference from the very first day it existed, which I believe is 24 years ago. So that would make him, 42 when he got that gig? Now he's 66, 24 years later. And he said the biggest reason he was sticking around, because his heart and soul, his DNA, is Mountain West Conference. He wanted to be sure that the group of five had representation in the college football playoff. He said once that college football playoff committee committed to a 12-team playoff with 6 AQs, the 5 Power Fives and the one from the group of 5, there was a pathway for his league to get in. It's what I've said just the other day about Memphis. The news was really bad. First, okay, here comes Texas and Oklahoma. Okay, wait, Memphis might get in now. And you're thinking that's pretty good. And then, USC, UCLA, they go to the Big Ten. Now there's a battle for the Big 12 and the Pac-12. And the Big 12 is saying, well, we're going to try to look westward. That was just a couple of weeks ago. It was bad. When the College Football Playoff Committee said there's a path for the U of M and for any group of 5 school to get in, if you're the best in that group, and normally the AAC has been, now you got to start thinking about the Sun Belt, man, because that league has 3 good teams already with major wins. But if you look at the past 7-8 years, Memphis is always in the discussion. Take out UCF, Houston, and Cincy. Memphis is a favorite with SMU and Boise to be that rep. And now you throw in these Sun Belt schools, but you've got a chance. In fact, you may have a better chance than being in a Power 5 league where you're going to be at the lower rung. So that was good news. But Thompson said once he accomplished that pathway for his league, he didn't feel like there was really any more for him to do, that they need new blood to see where this all plays out. If they lose Boise, if they lose some of these schools in Mountain West to other conferences. So he is stepping down at the end of the year, which got me to thinking, J-Mo, don't these things happen in threes?
They usually do.
Who would be next? We've got a list. We'll give it to you in a second. We'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by the good folks at Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric, and they're always thinking ahead. And right now you can get in on the early bird tune-up for your heating system, where you will get, and I love this, you will get a total checkup with a carbon monoxide check. The 16 points inside, outside they go, and they just clean your thing up. It's like taking your whole system to a car wash. It's really that thorough. You're going to get that carbon monoxide check, too. Early bird special, $49, 384-3511. You got to do it at Conway. And this portion of the show also brought to you by the good folks at AmeriCare. And everybody who's heard these spots, now they're going, this is an interesting concept. This is assisted living. And if you need any kind of memory care, there's 3 places that AmeriCare, a company that began in 81 in Sykeston. So it's like in the neighborhood. This is a great company. And they have 3 places in the Memphis area, at South Breeze on Hacks Cross in Memphis, Collierville, Schilling Gardens, and Olive Branch has Olive Grove Terrace. And they believe when you get older, the word healthy aging, well, it can mean a lot of things. Most people think vitamins or eating right or, I guess a lot of exercise. That's part of it. The other part is who you spend time with, like friends, having a purpose to get up each morning. They know all about that with the AmeriCare communities. It's about really where you live, who you live with, fun activities, sharing good company at meals, feeling right at home. Wellness. Wellness is the key word, and that's what makes these AmeriCare products so special. These communities at South Breeze, at Schilling Gardens, and at Olive Grove Terrace. Go see it. You'll feel like you are at home. All right, so if we do this little exercise, 3, I'm just going to throw out a name because I don't believe Adam Wainwright has said this is the end. Adam Wainwright could be the third guy, the next guy to retire.
He's certainly been warming up his vocal chops to jump into the booth, so that's a plausible one for sure. Another Cardinal, Albert Pujols, has said he might be taking a.
Well, he's kind of said he's going to.
That's right.
But he didn't know he was going to be this good at the end. He didn't know the Cardinals were going to be in the heat of the playoffs. Could he come back, or is he gonna hit 700, and then as Tim Doolin told us, move to Florida to be a little bit like a plane away from the Dominican Republic and enjoy a great life because the dude's worth hundreds of millions of dollars.
He probably will continue to have that worth even after he retires, especially if he hits 700 home runs.
I'm going to say both those could retire for sure. And I would say most likely they would retire. Serena, will she make it official?
That's probably the most likely next one to make it official because, like you said, she's already wrote that big article in the magazine about it and everything. So maybe her. Another guy we mentioned earlier who, he and his wife have both been making statements about their age and longevity is Tom Brady.
Ooh, here's the better one on that. I'm 100% convinced that Tom Brady retires at the end of this year. But he's been making statements, and we know there was we don't really know, but everybody speculates, there was marital problems, and that's why he left camp and went to the Bahamas, and she's not happy, and she said that in an interview this week. Was it Vogue? L? No, L was the Serena thing.
I think they were both L.
Oh, okay.
And it could have been Vogue. I get them mixed up, but she was on the cover of it, which, talking about longevity of Tom Brady's career, Gisele Bündchen being in her 40s on the cover of Supermodel magazines is incredible.
She's the Brady of
right.
models.
That's right.
Goat. How about this for one, though? I never heard him say this. After the win over the Cowboys, the next practice, he was talking about how sore his body was and talking about how he's missed holidays and funerals and all this stuff with his family. How about he doesn't even make it through this year? Maybe he's number 3 in a few weeks.
That would be a wild story. I like the idea there, too. Another one, Tom Brady, compadre. We talked about this. This is a long shot, though. Bill Belichick. What if the Patriots start going south? He wants to step away. I don't know. They had a bad week 1.
They had a bad week 1, but he's not stepping away. What else would he do? He's like Saban. That's what they live for. They play a little golf, and they do a lot of football, and they love strategizing and looking at video. What would he do? That's the problem.
That's a great question. He would.
That's why Saban just signed that new deal.
He would do what Jimmy Johnson does. He would get a boat in Florida and have coaches come to his boat and ask them questions about coaching.
Even Jimmy Johnson couldn't do that all the time. He had to get a job with Fox.
That's right.
Don't tell me Belichick's going to get a job with TV.
He can't talk that way.
I don't see that one, but that's interesting. Oh, so we mentioned Serena. How about her sister, Venus? She's older. She hasn't officially said she's done.
In fact, she says she's not. She wants to keep going.
When's the last time she's gotten past the second round?
I can't even remember. I have no concept. She's not in the limelight the way she used to be, certainly.
I was thinking about golfers, but anybody who's getting old, they just go to the live.
That's right. It's certainly from the tour, but we were talking about Champions Tour guys. Bernhard Langer, one of the greatest Champions Tour golfers of all time.
Well, the older you get, obviously, the harder it is to win. You got that window. The most wins anybody ever gets are 50 to 55. After 55, it's harder. That's why Doug Barron's got to make it while he can. But Langer is one of the greatest of the old guys. The other guy, who was the guy that played safety for the University of Colorado, I can't think of his name right now. But he's one of the great Champions Tour. Hale Irwin. Hale Irwin won a lot between 55 and 60. And Langer's won a bunch between 55 and 60. How old is Langer now?
65.
See, I knew it. And he's still up. He won.
Dominates.
Over 60, he's won a couple Schwab Cups.
Oh,
over
yeah.
60.
He dominated. All the majors he goes to, he dominates. I mean, for a while there, he was like just automatic. Give it to Langer to win the major in the Champions Tour.
Yeah. Could he go?
Could be.
I mean, I don't know why you would. Even if you, there's no cut on those, is there? They're 54 holes.
Certainly, maybe not actually, because all the guys I go to watch don't get cut. Like Rocco Mediate, even if he's over par, is always playing down the stretch.
And the other thing is, for them, it's like, okay, they're going and playing golf and having a party. They're telling old stories with their buds. I think they do have a pro-am, right, where they're, meet and just have fun with, guys their age that have always liked them. Maybe there's other business things they can do from that. I don't know why you would ever really retire. I was talking with Lauren Roberts about this, and Lauren said he's still going to go out there a couple of times a year. He doesn't think he can really compete, but it's fun.
And you see your old buddies that you've been playing against your, entire professional life. If I could go the other way from a very old person retiring, how about a young retirement? This A&M Yell leader getting dragged on the internet for what he said about Appalachian State being a backwoods college, naming themselves the Mountaineers, and then losing.
Well, first of all, no one should have made that public. Because that, I understand
the internet.
The Yell leader's gig is to fire up his guys so that they can fire up the crowd. So I get why he did it, but why would you make that public? Who did that to him?
I don't know. I also,
if they win, it's funny. When you lose, it looks bad, arrogant, certainly not politically correct. Has he still got his job?
Oh, yeah. He had one last year that went around on the internet, too. I love the cadence in which they talk about the staccato of his voice, like where he stops after every 3 words. A wild tradition at Texas A&M, but he could be one. He could be one to take a step back.
He could. Udonis Haslem. He's played 20 years as a pro.
20-year pro.
Is he coaching?
He is a player coach. Last year, remember,
see, that's what they should do with Pujols for next year, in my opinion.
Certainly, everybody would love to learn hitting from Pujols. But, yeah, Udonis is a player coach. He likes going through the workouts and playing in practice with the guys. Last year, there was that one game where Eric Spoelstra and Jimmy Butler almost got in a fight on the sideline. Udonis stepped up. He was ready to fight Jimmy Butler. Yeah. He was ready to throw hands with him.
I know.
So, yeah, that's another one that could
I might
take a step
him
back.
over Jimmy Butler.
Oh, yeah, I would not want to get in a fight with Udonis Haslem.
But he could be a guy middle of the season where he goes, I can't do this anymore. I just can't play. Maybe they would make him a full-time coach, though.
Yeah, they have to.
Can you do that? Can you, in the middle of the season, hire a full-time coach? Is there a Here's the question. I don't really know. Anybody let us know on the text line. Obviously, the same number, 901-360-8255. Is there a limit to the amount of coaches that you can hire in the NBA?
There's assistant coaches, quote, that's your title, 3. It's the most you can have. That's the most you can have. So
that's like college.
That's right. But you could have, theoretically, you got your player development, consultants, video coordinator. So,
right.
And depending on their hierarchy, like if Udonis Haslem went to be a video coordinator, he would certainly have a lot more say in the team than, someone my age who was a video coordinator, let's say.
Interesting. So they have the same limitations.
That's right.
Okay. I did not know that. I know this. Jarvis Greer is retiring. Could he be the third?
He could be the third.
He's retiring in December. That's not from the Tiger football broadcast, by the way. That's just from Action News 5. I read this thing that Steve Martin is thinking about retiring, the comedian.
He hasn't performed stand-up in so long.
Oh, he does the show with Martin Short.
It's a great show.
But he said that if Martin Short quit, he was quitting, and that he was not going to do any new projects, that he had a heck of a career.
This would be the last one for him.
Yeah. These guys are all getting old. Tommy Lee Jones, I think he's like 76 years old today. It's incredible how quickly time goes by. There's drummers of bands that I loved when I was younger, not necessarily even like kids, like a grade school guy, but like in college, drummers are 80 years old.
Keith Richards, I'm not a drummer, but Keith Richards, what, 78, 79, 70,
yeah,
something
I'm telling
like
you,
that.
all those, they're all in their late 70s now. Crazy. Anyway.
Those are some names to look at.
Those are just some names on a slow day. Can I give you a good number? We may talk a little bit more about this tomorrow, but the Tigers at home the last 2 years with Silverfield are a very good 11-2. One of those losses was to Texas San Antonio, a team they had a 21-0 lead on. Do you know that is the only non-conference home loss that Memphis has had in their last 23 non-conference games? They are 22-1 at the Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. 22 of their last 23. That only loss, they had a 21-0 lead to Texas San Antonio. They are really good at home.
That goes back, like 7 years or so? 6 or 7 years probably?
Well, you play usually – you only play 4 non-conference, right?
4, yeah.
Memphis will play at least 2 every year, sometimes 3. So you got 23 games. So that's
a lot of longevity there to not lose any of those non-conference. But UTSA is also no slouch.
So that's 6 years, 7 years. You're right on the money with that.
UTSA is no slouch. So they're going to put Texas on upset alert this week.
Well, they certainly had Houston on the ropes. They should have probably won that game.
And then Houston.
They're physical. That's the thing. And, when the Tigers had a 21-0 lead and they decided they were just going to run the ball and be physical, and they out-physicaled Memphis. And they kept the ball and they just ran it down their throats.
Wears you down. By the time you get to the second half, how many times they've run the ball and how many times those linemen and linebackers have taken those hits. It makes it tougher to stop.
Sure does. Memphis is not playing them this year.
Thank goodness.
I think the Tigers still owe them a game in San Antonio, though, because they were supposed to play them in the COVID year and never did play that game. I don't remember when that makeup. I think there is going to be a makeup game on that because they're not coming. Are they coming into the American? Let's see, the teams that are coming in. It's crazy. How can I not know this? But Rice is coming in for the Houston market. You've got Florida Atlantic.
That could be why it was canceled. It looks like they are scheduled to join in 2023.
Okay, so Texas, San Antonio, North Texas, there's 4. There's a 5th. I said Rice. Oh, Charlotte. That's the 5th. Oh, wait, more. UAB.
That's right.
UAB, so there must be 6 coming in.
Yeah, that's what it looks like. But UTSA, but I think someone else, Tennessee, canceled their
no.
with Oklahoma
Tennessee,
or something
Oklahoma,
like that.
and Texas.
That's right.
And SMU picked up one of those games, and I saw on Twitter, and it says Memphis ought to go for Oklahoma or Texas to make up the game or games that SEC teams might have had with those teams that are now coming into the SEC, probably 24, right? Isn't that when it's all going to happen?
Right now, yeah.
Although goodbye to Houston, Cincinnati, and UCF next year. And these other teams are coming in. We got to take a break. When we come back, we will talk NFL football, Thursday night football, only on Prime. Have you got Prime?
Oh, absolutely.
I do too. First of all, why wouldn't you have Prime? This is the one I learned. If you just become a member for the free delivery and you use Amazon, which everybody does, even old people like me, you get it free. And I must say, the impetus for me was the marvelous Mrs. Maisel.
Great show.
Oh, I love that show. When's the new stuff coming on Maisel?
It's fall, I believe.
Oh, it is fall? Well, this is fall. Where is it? Come on. I love that show. Anyway, so I've got it. I heard some people really complaining, though. But, I remember the North Carolina, because this is the greatest pusher example, motivator example. When ESPN2 first started, they decided they were going to put the Duke North Carolina game on ESPN2. That was in order to make enough people mad and complain to their cable operators to put ESPN2 on their systems because it wasn't getting the acceptance that ESPN wanted. So they started putting products on that people wanted to make the cable systems add it to their tiers. So this is a way for Amazon to get more people. Smart.
If you don't have it yet, you're going to have it if you like football tonight.
Yeah, and you're going to be, and if you're, anywhere near smart, you're going to buy the deal so you get the free delivery. More people use Amazon. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. It's brilliant like you if you were to go and enjoy Memphis Public Links. Great story on Audubon that's about to close. By the way, go see Audubon. I wish they would cut the greens down a little bit, though. They got them so long. They're not saving them. They're all going. Come on. Anyway, Audubon is, if you've played it, you want to remember it, so go play it a few more times because it is closing October the 31st. And in the commercial appeal today, the plans for it are coming out. There's going to be, I believe, a 6-hole pitch and putt that is going to be by the new tennis center. It's going to be 7,300 yards, maybe 7,300 yards, 3 lakes on the golf course, rerouting a new clubhouse that'll be on off Cherry. It's going to be fantastic. But that's what Memphis Public Golf is all about now. Go play Fox Meadows. I promise you, if you haven't played it this summer because it was closed to put in the new greens, you're going to fall in love. The greens are terrific, but the course wasn't used all year, so the conditions are, you can play it down. Let me put it like that. It's fantastic. And, of course, you know all about the great new Overton Park. My friend Eddie McDougall, who is champion public golfer. Fun to watch him swing that little short thing. He's like John Rahm. And he's as consistent with it as John Rahm. He told me the greens at Overton Park now, those are new greens, right? They just opened it. The greens at Overton Park are tour good. Tour good. TPC Southwind good. I got to go check that out. And I can't wait for this spring because that's when the new Pine Hill will be open, and that is going to be totally different and spectacular. Memphis Public Golf, they know it's an amenity, and they have invested for you. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, NFL up front and center. It's time to talk Thursday Night Football and more with Russell Copeland.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Our long national nightmare is over. It's finally time for football, and there's no better place to catch a game downtown than at Memphis's perfect neighborhood bar, Bell Tavern. Tucked into the alley behind 117 Prime, Bell Tavern was a well-kept secret for a long time. But now the secret is out. Bell Tavern is the perfect place to watch a game. Not too big, not too small, not too bright, not too dark. Ice-cold beer, delicious cocktails, the friendliest bar staff in town, all wrapped up in a cozy bar you'll never want to leave. It's Bell Tavern. Now you're in on the secret.
Hey, I'm Andy, and every morning I wake up thinking about shaving. When I started Harry's almost a decade ago, the shaving industry was a mess. Flashy, overpriced razors as far as the eye could see. I just wanted a great shave at a fair price. Too much to ask? I didn't think so, and that's why I started Harry's. 10 years and 20 million Harry's customers later, we're still obsessed with giving you a quality shave experience. Sharper blades, a better lubricating strip, and making our handle grippy in all the right places? All upgrades based on your feedback. And it all comes at a great price. Seriously, as low as $2 per cartridge. These days, my mornings are a little bit different. Morning, girls. But I still wake up thinking about shaving. Our starter set has everything you need for a close, comfortable shave. 5-blade German-engineered razor, weighted handle, and shave gel. Get yours now for just $3 with free shipping, backed by our quality guarantee. Just go to harrys.com now and enter code CBSMinute at checkout. That's harrys.com, code CBSMinute.
Hey gentlemen, Bill Russell here at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and I want you to think about something. When was the last time you surprised your wife or your girlfriend with something nice for absolutely no reason at all? Not a birthday, not an anniversary, but for no reason other than to show her that you do not take her and all that she does for you for granted. For 37 years, we've been helping Memphis men show their ladies how grateful they are to have them in their lives. For special occasions, well, gifts are expected, but a lot of times the unexpected presents, given for no reason other than love, have the most impact and say the most to her. Those gifts say you care, all the time, every day. At Russell Brothers Jewelers, we've been helping men say I love you for 5 decades. The size or the price of the gift is of little importance. It's the thought you put into it that will make her smile. Come see me, Bill Russell, at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers. Let us help you find just the right thing, large or small, that will help her know how you feel. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
The weekend almost kind of like really begins tonight, doesn't it? We got the Chargers and we got the Chiefs. Herbert, Mahomes, only on Prime. Glad to have Al Michaels. Oh, you can listen it to right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM as well. I'm sitting in the Family Leisure Studios, and I'm reminding you, it is the biggest spa sale in history. It's happening right now at I-40 and Whidden Road, 30% off. Spas in stock. You can get free upgrades on some select spas. It's really cool. All you got to do is get there, go say hello to Billy and Lindsay. You will appreciate what that store looks like right now. Family Leisure, I-40 and Whidden Road, where spas are really going very, very quickly. And you know our title sponsor? That's simple. It's Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, where you'll never pay more than sticker price on a brand new car. That's the truth. You never pay more than sticker price. They don't take advantage of you. There are the laws of supply and demand. Other places are doing that. This is why there's such great retention at Homer Skelton Hyundai. The product is incredible. Hyundais, Genesis cars, they don't make them any better. But then the fact is, they treat you like you're a member of the family. And they're not going to charge you and take advantage of the laws of supply and demand. You never pay more than sticker price. At the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road, the first exit in Mississippi, Homer Skelton Hyundai. So this matchup is about as good as you can get, Russell Copeland. Have you got Prime?
Yes, I do. Definitely. Got to have Prime, man, if you're going to watch some NFL, man. So I'm just looking forward to it, Dave. You got two young premier quarterbacks in the National Football League. I think both defenses have improved since last year. It should be an outstanding matchup tonight.
It really is going to be good. Okay, biggest surprises week number one for you, Tampa, the way they dismantled the Cowboys. How about the Bears? Although you were high on the Bears. We got the Bears and the Packers on this radio station Sunday night at 7-2. You thought the Bears would be good, but you didn't think they were going to beat the Niners, did you? I mean, what's their biggest surprise week one?
Well, going to the Bears, I thought they'll be competitive. I did think they'll be competitive. I think they're a year or two away. I think you have to look at the weather and things of that nature, but I still thought that the Niners would beat the Bears. I think that was a big surprise for me. I think also when you look at how the Bills dismantled the Rams, the Bills look just as good as been predicted.
Boy, they did.
And when you come down, I think some teams that have been on the bottom tier over the past couple of years, I think when you look at the Giants, 21-20 over the Titans. I wasn't very high on the Titans, but how the Giants came out and played, and we talked about it earlier, that if Saquon Barkley can get back to the form before the ACL injury, and I thought Dable would be an excellent coach to be able to motivate and change the culture, and you can see right now that they went out and changed the culture. So that was a surprise, and I think, honestly, the Packers and the Vikings, I know last year the Packers were dismantled in their first game with the Saints. I think it was like a 38-3, and they went on to have a 13-4 record, but how the Vikings looked offensively and defensively. And I know you lose Devontae Adams, but looking at that offense, it just seems like they were not on the right page. And we know how momentum goes. And if the young receiver catches the pass earlier, they go out and score. It could be a different outcome.
I agree.
But I think, I do think Aaron Rodgers will be able to right that ship. But how they were able to come out and play the type of game that they played. I'm talking about the Vikings. And the last one for me is the Broncos, losing to the Seattle Seahawks. It's not really the Broncos losing, but it's how they lost. When you look at game management, you look at how the Seattle Seahawks were able to go up and down the field. And Geno looked very good. And I think him being able to sit behind Russell Wilson, I think he came out and played because we talked about it. We looked at Seattle as being maybe one of the worst rosters and not being able to be competitive in that division. So the Seattle Seahawks played very well against the Denver Broncos.
I was shocked at the Seahawks. I was a little shocked at the call. I was watching the Titans at the moment when Daboll decided to go for two. And, of course, he has this Saquon Barkley who makes that play happen. Most mortal running backs would not have made that two-point conversion. But Barkley, right now, in his prime, absolutely did. But were you surprised if you were watching it? And would you have called for a two-point conversion? Or since you came back and tied the game, or had a chance to tie up the game with an extra point, would you have kicked it?
I was not surprised. And the reason is you have to look at the culture, and you look at this roster, and you look at Brian Dable being from New York. He understands what New York wants. And I think he put it all on the line. And I think you look at it, him being his first year, he say, hey, I'm going for it all. I don't want to go into overtime. So I really thought that he would go for it, and he went for it. And just look at how Saquon Barkley came to the sideline. Now this football team believes in their coach. Now they think that they can go out and win because they feel like they have the backing of their coach, and their coach is going to put them in positions to make plays.
We got a matchup tonight with Mahomes and with Herbert that is outstanding, but it seems like every week there's going to be an outstanding matchup. There's so many good young quarterbacks. Who do you think, if you were rating the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and I guess Brady's still going to be in there in your top 5. I don't think you'd make him number 1 because he's 45 years old. But how would you rate your quarterbacks?
Tom Brady, man, I think you have to put an asterisk, but he's definitely in the top 5. Give me Aaron Rodgers. I think he's right near the top. Patrick Mahomes. That's going to be there.
That'd be my number 1, I think.
Yeah.
I think I'd
Patrick
go.
Mahomes is, yeah.
Go
ahead, David.
Okay, you want me to? I would go this way. I would go Mahomes, Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers, probably Brady. Oh, man. And then
Burrow.
Man, I don't know if it's Burrow.
Could be Herbert.
Herbert could be it. Herbert or Burrow, that's probably.
Stafford won a Super Bowl?
I know he won a Super Bowl. I'm still not a believer in Stafford. I don't know why, but he makes good commercials. I like him, and I like his wife. I don't know. How would you go?
Hey, you give me Patrick Mahomes first, okay? I have to go with Josh Allen second.
So
Aaron Rodgers.
So we're perfect on 3. Okay.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers. And I say put Tom Brady over on the side because, honestly, I think you can still, at 45, can still put him here. But I just throw him to the side and put him an asterisk. Give me Joe Burrow next. He went to a Super Bowl in just his, 3rd year?
Yeah.
So I put him here just because of that.
And he missed a year, too, because of injury.
Yes, yes. So I put him here. And to me, right there together, I put Herbert and Lamar Jackson together. I put them right there together.
Lamar Jackson, I forgot about him.
Lamar Jackson is right there. You talk about an MVP. You talk about a player who's gotten better each and every year. He's won that playoff game. Did you see how he's throwing the football? He seems more comfortable in the pocket. He's throwing the football better outside. He's, out of all these young quarterbacks that we're talking about, he has an MVP. I mean, he has an MVP, and he was a play away from beating the Buffalo Bills when you look at them a couple of years ago. So he's definitely in that mix.
I forgot about him. And I'll tell you the other 2 guys that we didn't even mention, Deshaun Watson, who is on the sideline because of his issues legally, and Murray, who just signed that mega deal. We're not even mentioning those guys.
Right.
And I should throw in Justin Fields just because he's a Bear.
Hey, but the NFL is in excellent hands. And the reason why I didn't put Deshaun Watson in there, his stats are incredible, but you look at him missing an entire year, and these players are constantly playing. Now you look at him missing a big portion of this year. He has an asterisk as well, but he's definitely in the mix. And you look at Kyler Murray, I don't think he's done enough. He hasn't been consistent enough. You look at how he played last week. He didn't play bad, but he's going to have to be able to lead teams to playoff wins, and he's going to have to be the quarterback that leads this team later on in the year. That's when you look at November and December. And I think these other guys are right there leading their team to playoff wins, and they're on the verge of going to the Super Bowl or either going to the Super Bowl and winning it.
All right, real quick, because we're running out of time, but there's 3 games that are all going to be on this radio station, on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Bucks at the Saints at noon, Bears and the Packers at 7, and then Monday night, Titans at the Bills. How do you break those 3 down quickly?
Okay, real quick. Give me the Bucks give me the Saints over the Bucks. This is a football team that has Tom Brady's number. He's 0-4 since joining. the Patriots, since joining the Bucks in 2020 in 2020, give me the Saints in that. As far as the Bears, this is the oldest rivalry, Green Bay Packers going against the Chicago Bears. I think the Bears have confidence, but Aaron Rodgers is going to be ready to right the ship. I think it'll be close early.
And he never loses to the Bears. He's like 60-1. It's stupid.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But I do think the Bears will play. They have a little bit of confidence, but still give me the Green Bay Packers. And the other game, I think the Titans will be ready to play. They'll want to come out and play. But if you look at how Josh Allen is playing, he's looking like an MVP. He's spreading the football around. They have a lot of weapons. And Von Miller may be the key piece, the cornerstone piece to get this team over the hump and win the Super Bowl. You saw him have 3 sacks last week. And the last one, I think it's going to be a defensive game tonight. I think we look at the offense, but I think defense will have something to do with it, especially what the Chargers have been able to do. Khalil Mack, 3 sacks last week. But not having Keenan Allen for the Chargers may be big. Don't have that firepower. Give me Kansas City Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes.
I'm with you all the way on all that. Great stuff as always. I appreciate it. I'll see you in a little bit at our Tiger coaches meetings, and then we'll see you on Saturday. Real quick, Tigers and Red Wolves.
Hey, I think the Tigers are ready. It's a home opener. I think they have confidence coming in offensively. I think you can see the plethora of weapons. They're coming together defense. I am looking forward to defense to see how they bounce back from game one as far as getting some coverages in the back and putting pressure. But giving the Tigers big by 14.
He is Russell Copeland. He joins us every Thursday right here. Thank you, Russell.
Thank you.
Brought to you. In fact, he just talked about all those games. He was talking NFL games. If you like the juice, you need a sports book that you can count on with integrity, longevity, and you know you're going to get paid. How about a group that has been around for 28 years with NFL betting? BetUS. They offer their members the opportunity to cash in on all their favorite leagues. NFL for 28 years, NBA, MLB, there's European slots, live dealers waiting for you at the tables. There's MMA, there's golf, there's everything. And again, 28 years, they pay off. They're great. And they give you a 200% sign-up bonus. That's the best of any of these outfits. They're just all over it. And it's simple. You go betus.com or call 1-800-79-BET-US. Simple. And if you do that, we all win if you give the radio promo code SPORTS56Radio. SPORTS56Radio. That's the way to do it with BetUS, where the game begins. And this portion of the show is also brought to you by Ken Garland. Ken Garland Custom Home Builders. Ken knows it's a commitment you're making. Big money to build that dream home or to renovate the home you want to bring in all the modern amenities. Maybe you're looking for land. He's got it. Maybe you're not sure how to utilize land you've had in your family for a while. He's the perfect guy for that. All you got to do is go to kengarland.com and look at the beautiful, over 60 years, his dad first and then Ken, of building these incredible homes in our Metroplex. You're always going to get what you should expect. That's quality construction, on time, that's critical, on budget. Ken's an interesting guy to talk to. So give him a call. If you've looked at kengarland.com, call 751-1632. He sees the little details and the big picture all at once. He's really a good guy. Ken Garland, Custom Home Builders. We're back in a minute. We'll go to Baton Rouge. We got some pretty good football with the SEC and more this weekend, including in Baton Rouge, Mississippi State. And I think State's going to win. What does Ron Higgins think? He'll tell us in a minute.
Let former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Collierville Auto Center is all about trucks and Jeeps, and the inventory is all stocked up. Been looking for that special ride? You're covered from the basics on up. Want to sell your truck or Jeep? Then bring it in and get a fair deal. The technicians at Collierville Auto Center know just about all there is to know when it comes to trucks and Jeeps. So don't be afraid to ask questions. They've probably heard them all. Every truck on the lot has been fully serviced from top to bottom and bumper to bumper, and there are warranties available. Collierville Auto Center, 651 West Poplar in Collierville, and online at colliervilleautocenter.com.
If you want to make money in sales, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. If you can sell, Flynn Broadcasting has a great career waiting for you. If you can sell, we have great benefits, salary, commissions, sales leads, and a great place to work. Can everyone sell? No. But if you can, Flynn Broadcasting wants you. Apply today at jobs@flinn.com. Start your career today at jobs@flynn.com. Flynn Broadcasting wants you.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
We love going to Baton Rouge to talk to our SEC historian. That would be Ron Higgins. Mr. Higgins, how are you this morning? I know you're getting ready to welcome Mississippi State, where your son played football many years ago.
Well, for a year or two, I've been transferred and played at Halmummy in Southeastern, and that was like 20 years ago, man. So time flies. Time flies.
20 years ago, your son played college football? Please don't tell me that. Please.
Yeah, I know. We're old.
Wow, that is incredible. It really is. So, I don't know. Are you conflicted at all because your son played at State for a little bit? Or
no, I never conflict about that. No, I mean, not at all. I just I always enjoy. I have a lot of respect for Mississippi State because I always feel, and people who are State alumni understand this. Mississippi State does more with less budget than anybody in the SEC. They really do.
Well, they're all making so much money now. How can we say there's it's maybe the smallest budget of the SEC, but it's not that small.
But it's smaller than the rest of the SEC teams. Okay, I mean when you're in this league, it doesn't compare to an LSU or a Georgia or an Alabama or the people at the top who always win.
How does it compare to Ole Miss?
Probably about around the same, probably close. They're comparable. But State's always fought its way up, man. I mean, they've done a really good job at that school of building better facilities and hiring coaches who know how to recruit to Mississippi State. It's not an easy place to recruit to. You know, Starkville is not exactly a mecca, but you know it has its charm to certain recruits. So, and you know that if you find a coach like Mike Leach who has a style that's unlike anybody else's. They're a fun team to watch, and they can be competitive and they can win. And they're favored over LSU in Tiger Stadium, which I don't disagree with.
I don't either.
I think State's showed so far. You saw them in person. They're a pretty good football team, and LSU you still don't know about yet. There's still some things you don't know about. Still some question marks and. Those question marks are enough to make State a slight favorite.
I think everybody always talks about that air raid and Leach, and I'm a big fan of Mike Leach's. I really am. But I think we got to pay a little bit closer attention from here on out, rest of the year, to Zach Arnett, his defensive coordinator, and that defense. I believe last year they allowed the least amount of first downs of anybody in the league. Some of that is possession time, which because of the air raid, it's that little dink and dunk. They have like +6 or +7 minutes on possession time. But that defense is really pretty good. And I think I underrated Mississippi State based on the first two games I've seen this year, one up at Close and Personal in Starkville, and the other one I watched the whole second half against Arizona. I think this team is a complete team. They know the system now for the third year. There's been continuity at Starkville. I think this team is going to be pretty darn good in the end.
Yeah, I mean it's got a lot of veterans on defense. It seems like Tyrus Wheat has been there forever, but they're really good on defense. A lot of size along the front. Big linebackers who can run, physical defensive backs. So yeah, I mean, they are a really good defense. And again, credit State's offense for giving its defense a lot of reps. I mean, State averages 39, minutes a game possession, which is second nationally. and that really gives your defense time to rest and put some good games together. And so, yeah, this is for LSU. This is a really hard game on all fronts.
All right. Other couple of interesting games. Penn State at Auburn. Is Harsin on the hottest seat in the SEC?
I'd say so because his AD resigned. That was his shield of protection. So when that happens, all bets are off. So I would say so. Yeah, I'd say so. And Auburn's opened up. Looking okay, and they're playing a Penn State team that's ranked 22nd, and Penn State looked pretty good. So this is a fairly even matchup. I still like Penn State in this one. James Franklin's played in SEC games before in the SEC, so he knows what he's facing when he goes to an SEC stadium. So yeah, but yeah, I'd say Harsin is the hottest seat. I would agree with that. Yeah.
The premier game is probably the last game of the night on Saturday. That's Miami, ranked 13th in the country at Texas A&M, which slipped all the way to 24th after losing to Appalachian State. Now, they weren't the only Power 5 that lost to a Sun Belt team. Sun Belt's pretty good this year, obviously. And Jimbo Fisher's just funny in the way he reacts to things. Give me your breakdown on this game and Jimbo Fisher. And we know he's secure because they signed him to this gargantuan deal. They're not going to just, although they could afford it, but I don't think they're just going to get rid of him if it doesn't work out this year.
I really can't believe they're ranked 24th, honestly. It's amazing. I don't know how they held on. As bad as they look, and they just haven't played very well at all. Miami, this is a really make it or break it week for A&M. They've got to win this game. They just got to win this game. And they're playing a Miami team that's played, two so-and-so opponents. Southern Miss gave them a run for their money for a while. So Miami is not great, but this is a game A&M needs to come out and play well and win. And I don't know why the slow start. I don't know why he still can't find a quarterback that's any good. It seems like he hasn't had a quarterback. It seems like the only quarterback he's ever had who was any good was Jameis Winston. And honestly, I can't think of another guy. For a coach who's supposedly the quarterback whisperer, his quarterbacks have been terrible. His offense has been mediocre and predictable. And, it was – I always like big underdog upsets like we saw last week, the Sun Belt. I love that, especially Appalachian State. That was pretty awesome.
Oh, and how about Marshall beating Notre Dame, for goodness sake?
Yeah, that was even better. For all the Notre Dame alums who killed Brian Kelly after the first week of the season because he lost to Florida State, they kind of disappeared last week after Notre Dame lost to Marshall. So it's football season's interesting already. All these upsets early. Georgia is clearly the best team. Alabama didn't play great, but they won. But I'm still. This is the first year when Alabama was lost a game. I always thought, okay, they're gonna come back and blow out everybody the rest of the season because that's what they do. This team has some real deficiencies. It doesn't have very good wide receivers. Its defensive backs can't cover anybody deep. People run past them consistently last week. The Texas quarterback doesn't get hurt. Who knows who wins that game?
Well, the O-line, for me, the biggest surprise, because this is supposed to be one of the greatest Alabama teams ever with a great offensive line. They could put the game away. They had 2 plays to get a yard and a half, and they couldn't do that. That tells you there's another big deficiency on that O-line.
And their game-winning drive is credit Bryce Young for selling out of pocket. You know, so it's got some deficiencies, and they were shocking deficiencies.
No doubt, and we've seen the first firing of the year, Scott Frost, which, Higgs, I got to tell you, I thought that was a home run hire for Nebraska when they got him from UCF.
That tells you about fit, doesn't it? Everybody says he's a fit. You know, if he's not from around, he's a Nebraska guy.
I know.
People go everywhere that aren't fits, and they do well. Nick Saban wasn't a fit when he came to LSU. You know, you don't have to be an alum or from that area to be a fit. And that's a prime example of a guy you think was a fit and was awful.
He was, no doubt about it. Ron Higgins, as always, we appreciate it. We'll catch up with you again, same time next week.
Take care, Wolo. We'll see you.
Thank you. That is Ron Higgins, our SEC historian. He is brought to you by the good folks at the Eflin Insurance Team. And I like to say team. Well, they're big Tiger fans, for one. They put it in their phone number, 901-386-4777, which spells out GUR. But they collaborate. They are a team that collaborates with you. Here's what they do. They sit you down and they get to know you, whether it's life insurance or a home program. Maybe it's auto insurance. They want to know about you. They want to know about your family. They want to know what's the most important thing to protect. And then they want to know what your budget is so they can match that with several different places they can go to protect you. They do it collaboratively. And then the same thing with commercial insurance. If you've got a small to mid-sized business, that's their specialty. They'll forecast out what your assets might be, what you've really got to protect, how it's going to look in 15 or 20 years. What's your budget again? And then they pick out the perfect protection. One more time, the number is simple. 901-386-GUR. That's 4777. Do it with collaboration. Do it with the team from Eflin Insurance. That'll do it for us. Tomorrow we'll be talking a lot about college football and a whole lot more. But Johnny Radio takes your way the next couple of hours right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors.